Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? This is, of course, your daily financial news, something we do every day, right around 7:30 in the morning Pacific, um, Thursday, July 2nd, and let's just call today a good day, right? We've been talking since Sunday about Thursday, which is this morning being a big day. But before we get into the numbers, I wanted to ask you for a favor and let you know about something I want to do. So, I believe in sponsoring communication from your kids about financial independence, about investing, about real estate, and I want to put some money to work. So I did this about a year ago. I'm going to do it again for the month of July. It's the summer. They're not in school. They need something to do. So I'm going to sponsor a book report challenge from July 1st, which was yesterday, until July 31st. Here's the deal. Anybody under the age of 20 that gets the book, reads it, and writes a one-page book report and sends it to me. My email is listed a dozen times in the book, so it'll be proof that they read it. I will take the at least the best two and mail them $100, right, cash. Again, I think this is, at least if it goes as well as last time, it's going to spark conversations with your kids about money, which, at least when I was growing up, was not very common. And certainly investing was not very common. So, again, they will see vocabulary in this that they may ask you about. They may want to talk about the story. By the way, if you read it also, you could pepper them with questions and talk about the journey. This was a 15-year journey. They might want to talk about the housing collapse. They might want to talk about making $1 million. Who knows? You never know what little thing they're going to take from it, but it will help initiate conversations. And last time, I had them as young as 7. So again, I will grade on a scale or a curve, right? If you're a 7-year-old writing a book report, it'll be very different than an 18-year-old's writing of a book report. But again, somebody that you want to talk, somebody under 20 that you want to start having financial discussions with, this is a good thing to do. It's an easy book to read if you've read it. Do me a favor, though, if you've read it and you haven't left a review yet, I need some more reviews on Amazon and Audible would be wonderful. All right, that's enough. So remember the deal. We need 110 thumbs up, and we're going to talk Saturday from 8 to 9 about your questions. It looks like we're going to get there. I have faith in you the next 2 days getting there. So leave questions in any of the daily financial news. I'm already starting to prepare. The list yesterday was only 5 or 6. Today it's doubled. So last week I think we did 22. So let's see if we can do that again. So July 2nd, last trading day of the week. If you don't know that, stock market's closed tomorrow. So let's go out on a high note. We got to talk about payrolls. This is the number we've been talking about really since last month, right? Was last month an exception? Was the math wonky? What happened? Well, last month was a record, and we beat that this month. June payroll numbers were up 4.8 million. 4.8 million. Unemployment is down to 11.1. So we shaved off more than 2% on the unemployment rate. So let's take that for the good news it is. Let's not try to make a good number bad. This is a good number. It is. Now we have 2 data points, really 3, right? We're coming off the bottom and we're trending in the right direction. So let's enjoy that for a minute, right? We haven't had many things to celebrate. And yes, 11.1%, there's nothing to celebrate. I'm not saying that that's the end of the journey, but it's better than 13.3, which was better than 16.3. So let's not try to look at this. Let's only look at this as at least one good data point, right? It's a holiday weekend. It's July 4th. Let's have a reason to celebrate. I'm not remiss, though. The other number that was reported today, the new weekly claims. Again, we get this every week on Thursday. I am so looking forward to the day that this is under a million. It was 1.4 million. which is concerning a little bit. It's 15 weeks in a row, over a million folks on new unemployment claims. The real number we should be talking about is continuing claims, and that unfortunately did go up this week by 59,000. But I'm gonna again state that fact. We'll deal with that next week if that continues. I want to stay on the adding of 4.8 million and 11.1%. So long way to go, but it's nice to have some good news. Next up, good old Mark Zuckerberg. Man, talk about not being able to read the room. I don't know if you saw this, but he basically thumbed his nose at all the advertisers who are boycotting Facebook. He put out that email or conversation about, yeah, we'll have some third party auditor or whatever come in. But dude, the guy's not reading the room. He on an internal conference call, he basically flipped off the advertisers and said they'll be back. We're the best on the planet. Zuckerberg, man, you can be replaced, right? You alienate your user base and your advertisers like that, you can be replaced. And many would argue that delete Facebook is a real thing. So you might want to check yourself in the mirror. And, yeah, I know you're the 11th richest person on the planet or whatever it is, but dude, read the freaking room. That was a little over the top. Not cool. Next up, there's clearly going to be a stimulus 4 coming up, and it has to be done this month. It just has to. It is odd that the summer recess is in for the Senate and House. Like, they're not even back until the 20th of July. What the hell? I mean, that's just nuts. But anyways, there clearly will be something in there. Stimulus checks. I really hope, again, don't take this the wrong way, but if you're employed and your life really hasn't changed that much, I hope we don't add more debt for people that are employed. If we're going to send out stimulus checks, can't we send them out to the ones that are unemployed who really need it, and then save the other, in this case, 88.9% that are employed? Let's save some money for future generations. We know who's unemployed, right? So let's send them a stimulus check of 1,200 or 1,500 or whatever you want it to be. The people that are still working, come on. Let's try to come out of this with a little bit more debt. But clearly, I think everybody's going to get a new check. I did not get one, which was fine. But it's we need to think about the future sometimes. So that'll be interesting. Jobless benefits. I think it's very clear that the GOP is going to stand firm on that $600 unemployment gross up. I do think something continues, and it's probably tied to the unemployment rate, but I do not believe it will be 600. It's going to come in lower just because they want to say they did something. So my guess is it'll be 300 to 400. I would like to see it scaled with the unemployment rate, if that makes sense. Basically, instead of 600, it'll go to 400, 400 to 300 based on the unemployment rate. So if unemployment stays above 10%, it's $400. If it goes like to 8%, it's $200, something like that. I would appreciate something like that. And then a back to work bonus is interesting. Again, what that looks like, whether it's an extra check or a bonus or something. And then they keep talking about payroll tax cuts. So it'll be interesting. It's very clear something will happen. It will be interesting to see. Tesla, I don't know if you saw this, but Tesla is now the most valuable car company on the planet. It passed Toyota Wednesday or Thursday. What is today? Thursday? So Tuesday or Wednesday. It is interesting. They're the most valuable company, car company, let's be clear, car company. And they delivered 90,000 vehicles, 90,650. Of those, 80,050 were the cheap Model 3, with another, I don't know, what is that, 10,600 Model S or X, which is their expensive car. So Again, uh, Tesla, celebrate. Elon, I think you're going to be added to the S&P 500 because you have 8 quarters in a row, which I think is a requirement of profitability. So celebrate. You're really doing something. So we will see. I think they're definitely going to be building another manufacturing out there. So it is interesting. Manhattan apartment sales, worst on record. Again, this is just more proof that while the real estate market in the country is going to be hot, you can't. It won't. They won't all be hot. There's Manhattan and San Francisco are the most easy examples, probably with Vegas, Orlando in there as well, where you're vertical cities, and it is it's getting rough. Median price fell 18% in what was that month? Last month, and transactions were down 30%. So again, the exodus out of vertical cities is real. We have been talking about it on this channel for at least 8 weeks, I think. So it is something. It's going to have it'll have a long tail because there's property tax, and all these things in as it comes down, as rents come down, right? San Francisco saw rents fall 9% in, what was it, April, and then they fell 11% in May. So again, prices and rent are coming down in vertical cities. Ford, right? Auto sales. It's interesting. We talked about Tesla just a minute ago. Ford sales down 33.3%, GM 34%, and Fiat 38.6%. This is interesting because one thing that we've learned from China is mass transportation is bad, right? That's one of the things in this, right? Congregate, small space, touch everything. So auto sales have gone up in China. So I actually expect auto sales to go up. A lot of this is because, stay-at-home orders and things of that nature. So I would expect Ford, GM, Fiat to have pretty good, I don't know if necessarily June, but certainly July auto sales. I see those bouncing back. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Again, debt is relatively cheap for new cars. So it'll be interesting. And again, housing, right? Housing is exploding in most cities outside San Francisco and New York. I see auto sales coming back as well. I saw our president today on CNBC. He talked after the employment numbers, and it is very clear that he is he's going after China, right? He called it the China virus again. I think, I personally think that's a poor choice of words. Yes, I understand where it came from and all of that, but it's that just tells me that this battle is going to continue, whether it's trade and dollar and technology and all of that stuff. Which, not to say that that's a bad thing. We need to hold bad actors together, or accountable, bad actors accountable. But it is very clear where we were on a better path pre-pandemic with China. At least we were getting to a point where it felt like we understood each other. Now it's clearly being called out as, you got to point at something bad, I guess. So it is interesting to see that he's made China the bad actor that he's going to point at for the next several months. And of course, we talked yesterday about Hong Kong and China, about that new security law. I think it is very interesting that you can hold a sign about protesting and go to jail for life. I do think that is going to really calm the amount of protesters. So, so it is interesting. And then lastly, looks like Morgan Stanley upgraded Avis and Budget, which is interesting. Hertz just missed. They went bankrupt too soon. So that is interesting. They actually said there's 65% upside, which is interesting. And then the last thing I had for you is, again, cruise lines that are not even sailing, right? They're not even sailing. They're running today. The day traders and the Robin Hoods and all those worlds really like them. Airlines the same way. I've said this now 2 or 3 times. If you are an executive at a cruise line or an airline, Stop borrowing money. Get off your ass and issue common stock. It's cheap. It doesn't actually cost you anything. It is cheaper than debt. If they want to run your stocks when you have no sailings or bookings or any revenue, sell stock into that crazy wave of excitement. It is, I don't know why they're not doing that. I mean, American Airlines, I remember there was an analyst, what was it, 3 months ago, said it's worth $1. What is it trading today? $12, $13, $14? Issue common stock. Stop borrowing money from the federal government. Issue common stock, folks. It's not that hard. All right, so that's what I got for you today. Again, do me a favor. The last time I did this book report challenge and I gave hundreds of dollars away, I think I had only 15 or, I don't know, 12 to 15 reports. I want to read 100, right? This channel has grown a lot since I did it last time. There's a lot of, I want you to have conversations with your kids about money. That's the point of this challenge. Yes, I like sending out $100 bills to kids. It's fun, but I want you to talk about money. I mean, how often do you talk about money with your kids? Let's have this. And if it's your grandkids, so be it. Let's have some fun with this. So I really do hope that in the next, 30 days, I get at least 100 book reports. That would be pretty awesome. All right, everyone, remember the thumbs up. I have 37 people, now 38 people watching and only 15 thumbs up. We need 110. If we don't get 110, I get my Saturday morning back. All right, everybody, take care.